showing you 3 options for a high protein breakfast. These breakfasts will have over 30 grams of protein in, so they're so good to start your day off. I find that if I don't get at least 30 grams of protein in the morning, then I won't reach my goal of 120 grams by the end of the day. So that's why it's so important not to skip breakfast and make sure that you're starting off the day with a really healthy, high protein meal. You've got your fruits and your veg in there as well. I will never personally train on an empty stomach, which is why I love making these not too heavy style breakfasts that you can go and train on as well. In order to build muscle, you want to be eating around 1 to 2 grams of protein per body weight. So say example, me, I weigh around 61 kilos. So I need to be eating anywhere from 61 to about 120 grams of protein. So on the higher end, if you're looking to build muscle quicker, then you do need to be around that 2 gram mark if possible. Anything I find sort of in the 1.5 to the 2 gram mark seems to be optimal. Personally, I've seen no difference eating more than 2 grams per kilo of body weight. I think the muscle gains kind of stop around the 2 gram mark. So I wouldn't waste your money trying to cram in all these high protein supplements before bed. Just try and get 1.5 to 2 grams of protein per kilo of body weight in a day and make sure you're consistent with it. If there's 1 or 2 days you do miss it, fine. If you're failing to prepare, then you're preparing to fail. So it's so important to have these breakfasts that are quick to make, that you can prep in advance if you've got a busy morning, and that you're prepping in advance, then you're less likely to buy something out, for example. So I've been taking prepped food to work with me. It saves my money, saves my time, and it means I don't have to think about what I want to eat, and I'm being way more consistent with my goals that way. So our first high protein breakfast idea is going to be my personal favorite and the easiest to make is overnight oats. Now these can be made so high in protein, and you literally just take 5 minutes the night before, or even an extra 10 minutes on a Sunday, and you can make 5 batches for the week. I don't like to meal prep these any longer than 5 days because I don't find that the fruit keeps very well. So meal prep them every few days, three little containers just like this. I got one of these from a takeaway, like I had some noodle soup. I think this was a Tupperware from that, so you don't even need to pay for fancy Tupperware. Just use some old ones that you have. I've even got this Tupperware which originally had Starbucks like oats in, so it was the exact same thing that's going in there. So I thought, oh, I can even keep the Starbucks label on the front of it, and that way it makes it seem like I'm eating takeaway or Starbucks oats instead of my prepared oats. As always, I will put all the macros on the screen above me when I'm making them. So you're going to start with your oats first off. Doesn't have to be anything fancy, doesn't matter what type of oats they are. If I'm making this as a small breakfast before training or work, I don't like to have anything too heavy that's going to weigh me down too much. So I like to use 30 grams. Little hack for you guys. You can put your creatine and your glutamine, any sort of supplement powders, into your oats, and they won't spoil because you're not heating the oats up. So because the oats are going to be cold, it will keep in those nutrients, and it'll save you having to have them in a drink when you forget later. Then you can take any protein powder of choice. This is the one that I'm using. This is the Emerald Labs protein cream in the flavour chopped honeycomb and popping candy. I find this one goes really nice and creamy rather than normal protein powder, and this flavour also goes with quite a few different things. So I use this in cakes, in banana bread, loads of sweet things, and it's just a really nice consistency, and the popping candy gives you an extra little texture choice when you're having your food. But yeah, I find these really big tubs of protein are really good for sort of gains and getting cheap protein in, because although initially it's a big cost to buy the tub, this tub has literally lasted me months and I have not run out of it. So I've got 40 grams of the protein cream in there now. Also, if you want to add extra protein in, you can use a high protein yogurt rather than just a normal yogurt, but I quite like the taste of this one, and it's cheap as well. Yogurt here in Australia is a little bit more expensive than the UK, so I can't really afford to be buying the high protein yogurt as well, but this one's still got pretty good protein in, and it gives it a nice taste. So I like to put in about 40 grams. was more like 45 grams, but that's fine. We're just guesstimating here. Then you can pop in some fruit of your choice. I like to put in blueberries and raspberries normally, but I've only got raspberries and blackberries today. So I'm just gonna chuck a few of those in. Then last but not least, you can pop in your milk of choice. So if you're vegan and you're using vegan protein powder, then use oat milk. Oat milk is a really great creamy consistency. It's so good with oats. But I just use, you know, light semi-skimmed milk for this one because it's just got a bit more protein in than oat milk. And we're gonna give it a stir. Okay, so I ended up using 150 grams of milk total just because I added more protein powder than usual. So we're gonna mix this up. Okay, so there we have overnight oats. It looks a bit watery at the moment, but tomorrow we'll see what it looks like. I'm gonna leave it in the fridge overnight. So prep this for breakfast the day before and you're all good to go. So the milk will settle into the oats and harden overnight. But yeah, I'll put the macros up once we get it out of the fridge tomorrow. But yeah, those are your overnight oats. As you can see, so simple. No dishes, no cooking required, just a lot of mixing. So this is high protein breakfast idea number 2. I'm actually gonna have this for lunch now. So I'll just show you, obviously you can have this for breakfast, lunch, whatever. But yeah, it's another idea that I think people obviously know about, like smoked salmon and avocado on toast, but to make it extra high protein, you can add my favorite, cottage cheese, which is a really good probiotic as well. So it's really good for your gut and any like digestive issues that you might have. So I find this breakfast really good for bloating as well, because if you're using sourdough bread with cottage cheese and avocado, all 3 of those components are really good for bloating. So just going to toast your bread of choice. You can pick a high protein bread, that would be great. This one's got like 7 grams in for 2 slices, so it's not bad, it'll do. 50 grams of smoked salmon. You can put your cottage cheese on. This is just the Buller one, it's pretty cheap. I think it's a few dollars from Woolies. High protein cottage cheese with onion and chives, which is nice. So just spread that on there. Be nice and generous. Obviously you want this to be over 30 grams of protein. I think this is about 29, maybe just about 30, but we'll see. Bit of salt. And a bit of pepper. Done. And there you have it, nice and easy. I normally put some avocado on, but I forgot to buy one. But yeah, I'm gonna have a banana with it just to make it healthy as well. So don't forget your greens. Hello, good morning. Third high protein breakfast, similar to the overnight oats, like similar ingredients, but we're going to be cooking it and it contains flour. So we're going to do some protein pancakes. You want to put your dry ingredients in first. Teaspoon or 5 grams of baking powder. And I just use this as an egg replacer because I can't eat eggs. So if you do want to make them more high protein, obviously add eggs, but I'm allergic. It helps to fluff up the pancakes and make the texture a bit nicer. And any protein powder you like, but I like to use my Emerald Lab one because it's delicious. 20 grams of protein powder. And then you're going to add equal amounts flour to how much protein powder you had in. So I'm going to add 25 grams of flour to even this out. I use self-raising again to make the pancakes fluffy. Then your milk of choice. Then you can add a little bit of honey or a little bit of sugar just to make it a bit sweeter. 3 grams of honey. So the reason we want to add something a bit sweeter is because the baking powder has a bit of a salty taste. It's high in sodium, so you want to just make sure that they're not bitter. There you go. You want your pancake mixture to be relatively thick, and that way it's just going to stay together in the pan. But the thinner it is, the more moist they'll be. So it just depends how dry you like your pancakes, really. I like my mixture to be quite thick. So you want a nice big pan so that you can get the spatula in and around the edges. Just preheat the pan, and you're going to use butter to fry off your pancakes in. I like to get a bit on the spoon and sort of rub it across the surface, just so we're not using too much, but it's enough to like not make the pancake stick, if that makes sense. Okay, once you see little bubbles form in the top, you can sort of test the waters with your spatula. You do need a good pan for these, that's the only thing. So this pan's pretty much new, and then you flip it. There you go, perfect. Accidentally burnt these two, so make sure you don't put your pan on too high heat. They don't look as bad as they do on camera, I promise. They're just a little bit burnt. This one's going to be an extra big one because I always leave too much left in the jug and I don't want to wait. So we're going to make an extra big final pancake to put on the bottom of the stack.
You don't need to put this over here. I'm using a tongue tie.
Oh.
Burnt. I'll show the burnt side.
These are the pancake pile. So we're going to add our toppings now. Peanut butter. Honey. There you have it. Some easy, delicious protein pancakes. And these have 36 grams of protein in.